Man, the NFL is absolutely drunk. I just found out that the Dallas Cowboys are not going to extend Mike McCarthy. So the Bears are probably going to interview him at some point this week or next since he's going to be open as a free agent. But I don't think any of that matters because I think the Bears might have a deal in place already with Ben Johnson. I know. Let me tell you a story. Welcome back to Bears Yard. This your boy Vipe. And yes, you heard me correctly. I think that the Chicago Bears might already have a deal done in place with Ben Johnson. Now I know what you're saying. Vipe, that's not allowed. Ben Johnson is still in the playoffs. He hasn't been eliminated yet. How do the Bears have a deal in place? Well, this story starts and ends practically with the New England Patriots. You're watching Bears Yard, your home of opinionated Chicago Bears talk Monday through Friday right here on YouTube. So if you don't want to miss an episode, hit that subscribe button. So let me take you along the New England Patriots timeline, right? So they fired Gerard Mayo a few hours after their last game of the season on that Sunday. Then 48 hours later, they interviewed Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich. And then the day after, or 2 days after, they interviewed Mike Vrabel. Now, they interviewed Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich in the same day. Why? Because doing those two interviews put the Patriots in compliance with the Rooney Rule. Again, the Rooney Rule states that a team with a head coach opening must interview 2 external minority candidates or women for their head coach opening. You cannot make an official head coach hire until you comply with the Rooney Rule. The Patriots always knew that the target that they wanted was Mike Vrabel. So they interviewed Leftwich and Hamilton as quick as they could to comply with the Rooney Rule so they could then hire Vrabel. But they interviewed Vrabel 48 hours later, and then I think at the end of the weekend, Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, they made Vrabel the head coach of the New England Patriots. So you're like, Vipe, what does that have to do with the Chicago Bears? Here it comes. The Chicago Bears interviewed Ben Johnson virtually on Sunday morning. Not even 2 hours after that Ben Johnson interview, Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune reported that the Bears wanted to interview Ron Rivera. I don't know if anybody had an idea of when that interview was going to take place, but now Ron Rivera is on the radar all of a sudden after the Bears interviewed Ben Johnson. Come to find out, the very next day, Sunday, the Bears completed an interview with Ron Rivera in person. Because that's the other thing that's most important about this Ron Rivera tidbit. The interview was done in person when previously all of the other Bears interviews were done virtually. So, Vipe, why was Ron Rivera's interview done in person when Pete Carroll, Mike Vrabel, and everybody else got the virtual treatment? Folks, say it with me. Rooney Rule. Yes, Ron Rivera's in-person interview put the Bears 50% of the way in compliance with the NFL's Rooney Rule. Now, the Bears still will need to interview one more external minority candidate to fulfill the Rooney Rule. But they have a little bit of time because they can't officially hire Ben Johnson until he's eliminated from the playoffs or he wins the Super Bowl. But that does not mean that the Chicago Bears may not have a verbal agreement in place. I mean, 2 hours after the Ben Johnson interview, you set up an interview with Ron Rivera? Are you kidding me? And now the Bears are going to talk to, at some point, David Shaw, who is an executive with the Denver Broncos. The Broncos were just eliminated from the playoff contention. So theoretically, the Bears could comply with the Rooney Rule as soon as this week if they were to bring in David Shaw from Denver to interview. Actually, no, I take that back. That cannot happen. They can't bring him in person to the 20th. So the earliest that the Bears could comply with the Rooney Rule with David Shaw will be the 20th. Also, did you hear that the Bears are interested in Marcus Freeman of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Again, I know this is a little crazy to say, but if the Bears were to interview Marcus Freeman, number one, it's probably going to occur in person, and it's not happening until after the national championship game. Number two, it would comply with the NFL's Rooney Rule. So I say all this to say that it does seem like after that initial virtual interview the Bears conducted with Ben Johnson, that they are moving pretty quickly to try to comply with the Rooney Rule. I mean, that Ron Rivera interview came out of nowhere, fam. Like, what? I didn't even know he was on the radar. Then all of a sudden, 2 hours after the Ben Johnson interview, boom! Ron Rivera had the interview set up, and then the next day, boom, it's done? Are you serious right now? But Bears fans, let me know. Am I crazy, even though the Bears have all these other interviews in place? Or do you think there might be some merit to the fact that Ron Rivera got a magical interview out of nowhere right after the Bears completed theirs with Ben Johnson? Drop a comment, and if you want more opinionated Bears talk, hit that video right there.